Welcome back, superstar. In this video, I'm going to share how to create transformation at your events using my arc of transformation. Let's go. When people sign up to your events, they do it because they want to experience some sort of breakthrough, some sort of transformation. And it's your job to make sure that they get it. So how can you consistently deliver an amazing experience that changes people so that they leave as someone different than they arrived as? Transformation is a combination of a variety of different things. I'll name a few, and perhaps you can name some that I didn't even mention. But transformation happens as a result of learning. People can acquire new ideas, new concepts, and that can feel transformational. People can create or develop more self-awareness. If you can help people have an experience of discovering something about themselves, of recognizing something new that they never saw before, these are all very transformational feelings and experiences. Other things that create transformation are connection with others. Having deep conversation, having rich and meaningful connections can feel very transformative. And also being witnessed by others in your own ahas and breakthroughs and self-awareness development. These are all things that contribute to a container of transformation. The problem is that we don't always know exactly what path to take people down. It can be challenging to stare at a blank computer screen or a blank sheet of paper and be faced with the task of creating a transformational journey. Like, what do you do? Where do you start? What's the ideal path to take people down? Well, that's what I want to share with you in this video. I've spent now 15 years or so, maybe more years, designing and developing and delivering and leading events of some sort. 15 years doing it in my coaching and speaking practice. And before that, I was doing it in my publishing practice when I was working at the publisher and I was creating event experiences there. So I've got maybe 2 decades worth of experience, a little more actually, creating and designing experiences that people walk away from having had something happen, having some sort of transformation. And in those years, I've figured out a formula. Now, the formula that I'm going to share with you today is not the only formula. I'm sure there are other formulas out there. Maybe there are even better formulas out there. But this one works. It works, and I use it every single time I'm leading an event. Every single time I'm leading someone or a group of people really through some sort of transformational journey or process. I do this in my 3-day business breakthrough retreat, which you may have heard about. You can learn more about that at superstarbusinessbreakthrough.com. And I also do it in the retreats that I design every single year, the original. So my Superstar Business Breakthrough Retreat is designed with this process in mind, and the programs that I deliver to my 1-year Influencer Circle coaching client, I do this process every single time. So I know that it works, and I'm also sharing this with my clients and watching them implement this structure, and it works for them too. So all that to say is that this is a pretty good structure. It works really well. It's pretty easy to follow, and you can jazz it up and switch it up with your own awareness, your own learning, your own wisdom. Now, before I dive into the formula itself, please take a minute to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'd love to meet you. If you have ideas and tips and tricks of your own, please feel free to share them below in the comments. Okay, so transformation starts with you preparing the people who are going to enter your space. So you want to sit down and plan, come up with a clear intention for the outcome, a clear intention of what is it that you want people to have gotten when they leave? What's the intention of your experience? And secondly, you want to prepare them so that they can come in feeling ready. So if there's pre-reading or prep work that you want people to do, you'll want to think about that in advance so that people have enough time to actually do the work before coming into your retreat or into your event. The second thing is you'll want to think about the arrivals process when people get to your event. What is that like? How are you welcoming people? What are you doing to make them feel good, to make them feel welcome, to make them feel excited about the experience? You might want to welcome them with a gift or with some sort of special thing, whether that's a special drink or a special meal or a special guest that greets them, something like that. Once you're going to start the experience, you'll want to establish the ground rules for the event, the ground rule agreement. So this is what I call the pre-frame. And I do a pre-frame with every single event that I lead. And that pre-frame basically sets the foundation, sets the rules of engagement so that people know how to show up. So things like what happens here stays here, and this is a safe space, and you can share and be vulnerable and know that people aren't going to share beyond here. And I want everybody to feel their feelings fully and let people have their own experience. These are all parts of the pre-frame so that people can let go and be fully present for the experience. Next, from there, I usually open with some sort of conceptual conversation, right? Even though we're trying to achieve massive transformation, I don't think it works to try to go too deep too fast. I think it can help to create some stair steps towards down to the deep end of the pool. So that looks like opening it up with some concepts, maybe even some science, something that establishes a conceptual foundation for the work you're going to do. From there, from the mind, I like to move into something physical and get the body activated so that the mind and body are coherent and in coherence, and we start to kind of embody the stuff that we're learning. So that one of the ways that I like to do this is having people walk and talk. So going on some sort of walk or some sort of hike while we talk about the discussion that we had earlier that day. So mind moving into body. The next layer, usually that's the next day, I like to move into things that are more heart opening, more emotional, more vulnerable, things that are going to help people to open to each other and even open to themselves, open to me, and open to any of the coaches that might be at this transformational event. So that could look like a cacao ceremony, or it could look like a inner child exercise, something to just get them to tap into a deeper layer of their own emotional space. From that, more physical movement. I like to weave physical movement throughout the whole event. That way, as we're doing the work, the body is also participating in the process. Now, if we're going to go any deeper than the heart, then if we want to go into more of the spiritual realms, then I usually like to take a whole nother day for that. And that's where we might dive into more of that energetic space. So I usually leave that for later in my retreats, and I really only touch on those deeper levels in the private retreats that I do with my clients who all know each other. I don't really go there in my public-facing retreats with brand new people yet, although I am designing a new experience that I'll tell you about soon. By the way, if you want to receive information about the things that I'm doing and the events that I'm hosting, I'm doing them all over the country. Go and sign up at my website, sign up for the newsletter there so that you'll get emails when I've got some cool stuff cooking. So speaking of which, I only do the deeper kind of inner stuff right now, currently in the back end programs. I don't really lead with those. But if you do want to do something more spiritual, more energetic, I would weave that through later in the experience once people are comfortable with you, once they're comfortable with each other, once they're ready for that. And then it's important to build integration into the entire experience. Integration meaning space and time for people to journal, to connect with each other one-on-one, and to really process what's coming up for them in this experience. And then finally, the last piece of this is some sort of debrief or follow-up, something that's an integration of the whole experience. You want to build integration into every step along the way, and then have something to integrate the whole experience, and then something after the event as sort of a follow-up or a debrief so that people can come back to it once they've been back in their world, once they're back in the real world and they're seeing how things are coming up, how their life looks and feels maybe different since they've been through this transformational journey with you. So this is also an opportunity to see if there's a possibility for a longer-term connection, for them to enroll in some sort of longer-term coaching program. I'm a big believer, and you can see it from so many of my videos, that one of the main purposes of having and delivering and offering these incredibly transformational, immersive retreat type experiences is so that people will feel inspired to step into ongoing support, coaching, and work with you. Now, if you want to learn how to make your business more successful, more scalable, more joyful, more prosperous, then maybe I can help. I'm a coach. I specialize in helping people like you build and grow successful coaching businesses. And you can check out more at superstarbusinessbreakthrough.com. That's my foundational program that I deliver. And if you want to talk to me about whether or not we're a right fit to work together, you can connect with me at superstaractivator.com/go.